I'll have women who tell me, oh, he said he wanted kids. Like, check the box, And then I'll say, like, well, what does that mean? He wants kids. Do you know how many ways you could be a dad? We all know there are a lot of different ways to be a dad. Like, you could be a stay-at-home dad. You could be a breadwinner dad that doesn't want to emotionally engage with the
That's
children. You
right.
could be a weekend dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get deadbeat dad. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
There's
different
a
ways to be a
yep.
dad,
Mm.
right? And so I don't think the question should be, does he or does he not want kids? I don't think that's a yes or no question.
Welcome to Sheila's Take, your go-to podcast for thoughtful insights on love, faith, health, fitness, relationships, and navigating today's challenges through a spiritual perspective. Join me, Sheila Dunbar, as we explore various aspects of life with a mindful and godly approach. Tune in for engaging discussions on all things meaningful and transformative. Welcome back to another illuminating episode of Sheila's Take, where we dive deep into conversations that really matter. I am your host, Sheila Dunbar, and today I am so thrilled to introduce you to a truly remarkable woman who's transforming how women of color experience and embrace singlehood. Joining me is Fanny Tristan, a woman's empowerment coach and trauma therapist with over 15 years of clinical experience. As a daughter of Afro-Peruvian immigrants, Fanny brings a powerful perspective to the intersection of love, identity, and cultural narratives that shape our relationships. Fanny is the visionary behind Her Soul Supply, a wellness collective specifically created for single women of color. Through this platform, she's helping women reframe singlehood not as a waiting period, but as a powerful time for empowerment, healing, and unlimited possibilities. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or somewhere in between, Fanny's insights on human behavior, trauma, race, and gender will leave you with valuable tools for your own journey. So, without further delay, let's welcome the incredible Fanny Tristan to Sheila's Take. Welcome, Fanny. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so very, very welcome. I know this has been a long time coming, and I'm so excited to get into this conversation. So, let me ask you the first question. You describe yourself as a daughter of Afro Peruvian immigrants. How has your culture background shaped your approach to empowerment work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I am from the country of Peru. I came to the US as a small child.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my parents are Black. We are Black, kind of from the Black diaspora, from the
Mm-hmm.
African diaspora, and descendants of enslaved people from Peru. And so Black Peruvians are actually just the 2% of the population of Peru. So a lot of people don't even think we exist. Even
I
Peruvians don't think we
I'm
exist.
going to be honest with you. I have a friend who's Peruvian, and I wouldn't, I never thought,
Mhm.
I never even thought there were. So thank you for bringing that to my attention and to our attention.
Yeah, yeah, I'm always happy to represent. And so, I think growing up as a kid who kind of ended up being on the margins in a way, right?
Mhm.
Like, I think when you are an immigrant, you are kind of in the margins and just living a different reality because you're
Yeah.
navigating different systems. Um, I grew up Black and Latina, right? And
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
think that especially for young kids who aren't taught about diaspora, they're not taught about kind of the depth of the transatlantic slave trade and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. I had a lot of peers that were confused as to why was I dark if I was a Latina, or why did I speak Spanish if I was Black? I'm not really
Mm-hmm.
Black, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think I've always um, been on these margins and always had to be very aware of the systems that were in place that I had to navigate to get my needs met, whether it was feeling like being a part of a community or feeling like I had to like mask or code switch in certain ways in order
Yeah.
to, get adults to do things for me, or to advocate for people. And so I think that it definitely primed me for my career in clinical social work, which is what I
Mhm.
ended up going to college for, because I just loved studying the systems, and I loved understanding people and
Yeah.
why we do what we do. And so a lot of that really shaped um, the way that I see my work and the way that I see kind of how people move through the world. There's a saying in social work called the Bio-Psychosocial Approach to
Mhm.
treatment,
Okay.
which means that social work is all about kind of the whole person in their environment, right? It isn't just this assumption that if there's something going on psychologically, that it's just like in your head, right? That
Yeah.
in reality, you are responding to your environment. You are a part of a system. And so
Mhm.
all of those things are interacting at all times. And so that includes your biology, your psychological state, your social state and your social standing, and that all of those things together is the kind of information that you need to really be able to assess someone's needs.
Mm.
And I think that's something that I really took to when I was in social work school, of the way that I saw people,
Yeah.
right? Like people aren't all the same, and there's a reason why we aren't all the same. And so that always really intrigued me. And so as I've done my work in social work and furthering my clinical skills and becoming a therapist and doing trauma work,
Mhm.
I always use that lens to be able to understand a lot of those concepts, even until today, in working with single women and understanding what is it about their social standing that influences so much in terms of their emotional well-being and the type of concerns that society at large have about single women of a certain age.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not single now, but I got married I guess what people would consider late in life because I was like 35 when I got married. I mean, now I guess people are getting married later than that, but at the time when I got married, I was 35 and I was considered getting old. Like, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? When are you getting married? So I definitely understand that. But let me ask you this. You're a trauma therapist. So what pivotal moments led you from being a trauma therapist to creating Her Soul Supply specifically for single women of color?
Yeah, yeah. So those things are very connected, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I started off my career as a trauma therapist, right? So I have a private practice. I still
Mm-hmm.
have my private practice. It's called Restorative Space, and I do trauma therapy there.
Okay.
I've been doing that for several years, and I noticed that there was a pattern. There was a pattern of women that were coming into my practice who felt that their presenting issue, that they felt like the thing that was wrong was that they were single. So they
Hmm.
felt that
Okay.
they needed to go to therapy because they felt like there must be something wrong with them for not
Okay.
being chosen,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That, there's something going on with me where, I'm either self-sabotaging, or I have, I'm people, everyone says I'm too picky, or everyone, all
Mhm.
of the criticisms that they were
Yeah.
getting about being single women, they really internalized as something that they needed to fix. And that's why they
Mhm.
were coming to therapy. And for some women, that was we did a lot of really wonderful work in terms of trauma therapy that they may have needed. But I
Mhm.
also felt that there were a lot of women who didn't necessarily have a psychiatric or mental health concern. And as someone who also had their own singlehood journey, and knowing how women get treated after a
Mhm.
certain age when they're
Yeah.
single,
Yeah.
right? And not completely dedicated to finding a man,
Mhm.
right? I felt like to diagnose them was to be part of a long legacy of mental health providers, or a long legacy of people in the health field who have pathologized women for not being okay with the status quo or not fitting into the status quo, right? Women are
Yeah.
often, told there's something wrong with them for not doing what society expects
Yeah.
them to have been
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, they used to call women hysterical. They used to give them lobotomies, right? They were calling women witches at some point,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's
Yes.
always because we weren't doing what the patriarchy expected the
Mm-hmm.
woman's role to do,
Right.
right? Women that spoke out were seen as the crazy
The
ones. They were
crazy
seen as
ones.
the problems, right? And I think
Or
that,
angry. Or angry.
yeah, too angry,
Yes.
aggressive, all of
Mm-hmm.
these things.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that I would be part of that trend of these of a provider just saying like, yeah, no, there is something wrong with you for being single, right? Because you should
Really.
want all of these things, and I really didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also knew that there were things that I experienced in my singlehood journey that really made me flourish, and they weren't restricted by the mental health support that I
Mm-hmm.
was getting, even though
Yeah.
that was part of the journey. But I also knew that travel was a huge part of my healing journey, right? I also knew that
Yeah.
community was a really big part of that journey, right? And I felt a bit restricted by my medical model of my therapy practice, right? Where I
Mm-hmm.
have to diagnose someone and then I have to give them a treatment based on the diagnosis, right? That's what you do, and when you go to the
Right.
doctor,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to create offerings that gave a more holistic approach to the things that I knew single women needed in order to feel like they were having a fulfilling life, regardless of romance. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's really where Her Soul Supply came to be. It is a, a, a group of offerings that I'm able to provide that I just didn't feel like I could provide in my therapy practice. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a combination of educational tools that I've created, around relationship to yourself, relationship to other people, and how to navigate intimacy and close connection with other
Yeah.
people, how to build community, travel. I have retreats.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a coaching program where I coach women through all of these lessons, and so it really has become an outlet for women to have this one-stop shop, to really finding the ways to level up in their lives and stop feeling like their lives are on hold
Mm-hmm.
because they've just been told that their lives weren't really going to begin or feel fulfilled unless they had
They
partnership
have a
or
part.
they were
Yeah.
married.
Yeah. I mean, I there are people um that I know that are single and they're happy that they're single. But then there are people
Mhm.
that I know who aren't that are single and they're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna get married. Woe's me." But I don't think I'm trying to think back in my time when I was single, if I ever thought that it was me or if it was something I was doing or um I guess because I did hear a lot of a lot of the things that you were saying. Oh, you're too picky. Oh, you're too bossy.
Mm.
You want to be in control, but I mean, what's wrong with that? Not
Mhm.
I mean, what is wrong with that? Why can't you be that and still why do you have to settle? I don't feel that that's something that would be mentally wrong.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's just who you are. It's your makeup. I don't know. Maybe I was being too picky. I don't know. I don't think so. Um, it's just I was wait. There was a certain person that I wanted. There were certain things that I outlined, and I mean, I know a woman who. I mean, she's not married. She's still not married, but she has a list. She used to go out on dates with a. She would take out a what do you call it? A
Like a
note,
Rolodex.
not a roll. What do you like a list, and go down a list of questions. And I'm like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. You need to get to know a person, and before you even get to that point. One of the questions I wanted to ask was,
Mhm.
you can have women who's um of a different nationality or not a different race, and they can still be picky and all of that. But why do you see significant with women of color?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think so her self-supply is open to anybody,
Oh, okay.
but it
Okay.
is curated. It is curated for a lot of the concerns of single Black and brown women.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So what I mean by that is that a lot of the workshops, a lot of the
Hmm.
educational content, a lot of it is geared towards talking about things that impact Black and brown women on a
Okay.
regular basis. So we're going to
Okay.
talk about race. We're going to talk about colorism.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about beauty standards and how Black women tend to measure up against those
Yeah.
things,
Okay.
right? And so
Yeah.
that's why I think of this as something that is like a love letter to Black and brown women
Yeah.
because it's not, yeah, we all are struggling. We are all under patriarchy,
Mm-hmm.
but we also all have different rungs
Mm-hmm.
in that in patriarchy, and I
Yeah.
think that those all warrant their own conversations.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that it needs to be about like segregating. I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's all about the idea that there are nuances to these systemic issues that don't get talked about because when we generalize it all, we just tend to not talk about them at all
Yeah.
because it either makes the bigger population more uncomfortable, or it's
Mm-hmm.
just something that isn't seen as important. And
Yeah.
so I created these offers with the intention of talking about those things because I do think that they are important
Yeah.
and they do have a big effect on the way that we move through the world. And so that is why it is curated for Black and brown women. If non-Black and brown women want to join, they
They
can.
can.
I think it is also under the understanding that you're going to be a part of these really hard conversations
Yeah.
and you are going to be the face of some of the pain that a lot of
They're
women are going to be
experiencing.
talking through. And are you willing to be okay with that as part of being in community with women that don't look like you,
Yeah.
or who often experience people with your skin tone um, as harmful.
I love that. And I'm glad you answered that question because even within black and brown, we also have the segregation, you know,
Hmm.
because then we
Hmm.
have, I'm not the right complexion. I'm glad that um, you made that clear because that's important and we definitely need that. You mentioned earlier that sometimes women feel like they're self-sabotaging, so that's why they're single. What do you see patterns of self-sabotage that you see most frequently?
Mm. I think that, well, actually, I want to clarify the question because are you talking about how women self-sabotage like while they're dating, or like is it a specific goal that they have for themselves that they're not
Yeah, like
sabotaging? I
you
feel like
like
the
I
answer
said.
could be different for different things.
Yeah, like I said, like the person I know, when like she'll go out on a first date with a laundry list of questions, like she's doing an interview,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
um, and just things like that. Or they'll go out on first dates and they'll expect that this is going to be my husband, or I'm going to. They have certain standards and things like that where they're already putting it out there. Where if you don't have these, I'm not. I don't even want to be. Yeah, I don't even want to entertain it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a value in standards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I'm not a dating coach, right? I'm specifically not a dating coach,
Right, right, of
right?
course.
But I have supported women in participating in healthy, safe relationships,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And that comes with a lot of assessing around your needs, around your expectations, around how you feel with people, around how you balance power and control
Mhm.
with people,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that, when I guess when you give an example of like, well, what is it like is an example of self-sabotage for a woman to show up to a date with this laundry list of requirements that she
Mhm.
has. I guess my answer to that is, um, well, what is her goal? It might not be self-sabotage,
Mhm.
right? Um, I think that if her goal is, I'm only investing in time to date because I am seeking a specific partner to do X, Y, and Z with,
Yeah.
right? I think that there are standards, right? I think
Mhm.
where you look for that matters. I think, um, and the questions on that list matter.
Yeah.
So for example, I think those are the real questions that I have, right? It's like for
Yeah.
example, I'll have women who tell me, "Oh, he said he wanted kids." Like, check the box, And then I'll say like, "Well, what does that mean? He wants kids. Do you know how many ways you could be a dad?" We all know there are a lot of different ways to be a dad,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? Like you could be a stay-at-home dad, you could be a breadwinner dad that doesn't
Mhm.
want to emotionally engage with the
That's
children, you
right.
could be a weekend dad, right?
Mhm.
You get deadbeat dad. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
There's
different
a
ways to be a
yep.
dad,
Mm.
right? And so I don't think the question should be, does he or does he not want kids? I don't think that's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
I think the real question is, okay, if you picture yourself as a father, what kind of father do you want to be? And does that
Exactly.
align
Yeah.
with the kind of partner that I need, that it's
Mhm.
going to be the type of father that I want to my kids? Are they going to be the type of partner to me that's going to allow me to be the kind of mom I want to be? Right? Because the kind of dad you're going to be is going to definitely impact the kind of mom I end up
Yes.
being. And so I need to assess for that, right? Like, do
Right.
you see this as something equitable? Do
Mhm.
you expect me to be your mom too? Right? Like, I think that those are the real
Yeah.
questions. Are those first date questions? Probably not,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mhm.
those are the type of questions that some people, they won't even tell you the truth because they don't even know you like
They don't
that,
know you exactly.
right?
Mhm.
And so I think it's things like that, like when you know exactly what it is that you're looking for, then it's going to be a lot clearer how you look for that. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes if people just kind of show up with a list of questions that are actually not very clear and they're all just yes or no questions, then I'm not sure if they've really done that pre-work to really
Mhm.
decide what it is that they're looking for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 So you mentioned her soul supply, like you have retreats and other things that you do. Tell us about the retreats and the experiences you create through her soul supply.
Yeah, so our first big retreat was in 2020. Actually, was it this year in 2025? Yes, it was in April of 2025. Wow, what a
Ooh,
long year.
look at
I was like, it was last year. No way, I don't think it was.
no,
I
we're
was
still in
planning it last
2025.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went on
Wow.
this retreat in
Mhm.
April to Oaxaca City, Mexico.
Oh, okay.
It was 6 women. We did wellness events every day. We had sister circles talking about different topics. We went out to wonderful dinners. We met
Mhm.
with local people who taught us
Yeah.
all about their local craft. I really believe in ethical travel. And so all of the money that goes into the packages and the retreats and what we do goes straight into the hands of the people that are from there.
Oh,
So we always stay
nice.
somewhere that's local. We
Mhm.
always give our money to local people who want to show us things about their world because the whole purpose of our retreats is to let the world guide our growth, right?
Yeah.
To take a lot of those lessons and all the healing that we've done and to really expand that into the world and be able to like have that live with us no
Mhm.
matter where we are, right? And so that is really the foundation of our retreats. And so hopefully we'll be able to do it again next year. Right now, I've been focusing on the educational part of Her Soul Supply. So I just launched my 12-week course. It's actually called Settle for More.
Okay. Settle for
And
more?
so, yeah, and so that is a 12-week course where we have group coaching calls every week. I share a new lesson every week, and it's all based on my framework, which is about improving personal agency and finding your way back to yourself. building relationships with other people, and then
Mhm.
expanding that into the world.
Ooh.
And so I really just take all the gems, all the aha moments, all of those like special lessons that I've learned, that my clients have learned in their work with me, through their singlehood journey, and just really compiled that into this 12-week curriculum. So I've been really excited to begin that.
Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds really nice. Oh, wow. Why do you think sisterhood is so important in the journey of self-discovery and healing?
I think that it's so important because it's very easy to believe that you are the only one going through something.
Yeah.
I think that, we forget that there are entire industries that have been made to cause us to feel like we're not good enough,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
From what we
Yeah.
watch, what we listen to, what we're
Yeah.
comparing ourselves to every day, right? And I think it
Mm-hmm.
can make our world very small. And it can make us forget that we have agency, that we have the ability to change our minds, that we have the ability to change our environments.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think that when we are in community with other women, we are constantly reminded that we come from different walks of life, and that there's different slices of life,
Mm-hmm.
and that you always have the choice to be curious and step out of your comfort zone, even
Yeah.
if you feel
Yeah.
like it's scary to try something else, right? I think a lot of women have come to her soul supply because they've needed a soft place to land, right? Whether they know they've been in a toxic situation of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
or, they know they've been miserable, but at the same time, they didn't know where else to go, right? Where do you go when you're not on the relationship escalator,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And so her soul supply is really a soft place to land for you to find your
Mm.
people.
What advice would you give a woman who's gone through a difficult breakup and is struggling to see singlehood as positive?
Yeah. I would tell her that the world is bigger than you think that it is,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that when you find yourself in a place where you start to do all the woulda, coulda, shouldas, all the remorse around how things could have been different, know that those are things that are actively depleting your energy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And really fogging up the opportunities right in front of you. And so the best thing you can do is go explore new things.
Yeah.
Your friends, if your friends are just reminding you of all the bad stuff, then I guess it's time to make some new friends,
That's right.
you know? All those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes misery loves company, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice, Fanny. That's really good advice. So, okay, you ready for the lightning round now? You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Um, one book every woman should read.
One book every woman should read.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a good one. Lightning speed. I don't even know. Oh, All About Love, Bell Hooks.
All about love. Okay, I'm writing that down. Well, because I do these lightning rounds, and I always ask about a book. So, and then I'll get the book and I'll read it. So that's I get new books into my library also. So I'm definitely going to get that one. But what's a self care practice you can't live without?
Ooh, massages. I love a
What? Oh
massage. I
yeah,
really
yes,
do. I
yes.
think especially as a practitioner who
Mm-hmm.
can't, like I'm sitting down a lot.
Yeah.
I sit down a lot to speak to people. And so I think, especially as I'm getting older, motion is the lotion of the joints, as they say. So every time I get a massage, I just feel like it's such an indulgent treat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Best place you ever traveled to and why?
Best place I've ever traveled to. Um, oh, so many places, let's say. I actually I loved Cambodia. I went to Cambodia and
Really?
saw kind of like the original ruins there at Angkor Wat, and it was so incredible.
Ooh.
It was part of my honeymoon trip, actually. We went to Thailand and you can go to Cambodia as well.
Ooh. Wow.
Um, and I just found that part of the world so gorgeous, so incredible.
That
Um,
sounds
yeah,
so
it was
amazing.
beautiful.
Wow, yeah. Favorite affirmation or mantra?
Favorite affirmation or mantra? Hmm. You can do hard things.
You can do all things?
You can do hard
Hard
things.
things. Okay, okay. What is the most
Hmm.
overrated relationship advice?
Oh, what's the most overrated
Overrated.
relationship advice?
Yes.
I would say don't text first. I think if you want something, you should go get it.
Yeah.
Stop playing games.
Ooh. Yeah. Most underrated quality in a partner.
Ah, listening skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh. Something you wish you could tell your younger self.
Mm, most of the people that don't like you don't like themselves.
I've heard that before, I've heard that before. Comfort food that never fails you.
Mhm. Comfort food that never fails me. Um, ooh, comfort food that never fails me. I love like good soft serve,
N- s-
like a Carvel soft serve ice cream.
Really? Oh, yeah.
I love soft serve. I feel like you see it less and less. Like I don't care for grocery store frozen ice cream.
No.
I want the
Yeah.
creamy
Yeah.
swirl.
Like you get off the uh well, I'm not sure where you're located, but I'm from originally from New York, and they have them out here too now. I see
Hmm.
them, Mr. Softy trucks, the ice cream trucks with the little.
Mr. Softy
Oh,
trucks.
oh yes, oh my goodness,
Hmm.
yes, those are the best. Those are the best. I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, Song that always lifts your spirits.
Song that always lifts your spirit. Um, Beyonce, Grown Woman.
Okay, okay. One word to describe the power of singlehood.
One word to describe it, the power of singlet. Freedom.
Freedom. Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word for it. Oh, thank you. You did good. You did good. You did good.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah. I always ask, this is my last question that I ask everyone. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for the community that has supported me throughout this journey and building her soul supply and my practice. I'm grateful for my family, my parents, and my husband and daughter.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and all of the close friends that have been sticking with me this whole time. I wouldn't be able to be here without them.
Before we wrap up, where can my listeners find you and learn more about her soul supply?
They can join my newsletter through my website. You can
Mm-hmm.
find some freebies on there as well. It's at hersoulsupply.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Her Soul Supply as well as TikTok.
Perfect, perfect. So what do you have on the horizon? I know you said you started a 12-week course. Anything else coming? I know you're
So
gonna
the
write a
12-week,
book. I know you're
yeah,
gonna write a book, right?
oh,
What do you mean no? All
maybe
this information? You-
one day.
One day. Hmm? Okay. Okay. Um, Any final thoughts, last words? Anything you want to leave with the audience?
Thank you for listening. And remember, the world is always bigger than you think it is.
Ooh, I love that. I thank you so much, Fanny. I thank you for taking the time to be on Sheila's Take. You are a blessing, and keep doing what you're doing. I know that you are making some strides. You are helping a lot of women, and that's so important these days, and giving the woman confidence and letting them know, if they're single, it's cool to be single, it's okay. Like you said,
Mhm.
it's freedom.
Yeah.
you,
It's freedom.
that's freedom.
Exactly.
So I thank you. I truly thank you for just being my guest. And to my audience, if you are inspired by what you heard today and want to learn more about Fanny's work, you can find her at her supply.com, right? And I'll include the links in the show notes, including the information about anything upcoming that she has, if she has any more retreats coming up or any coaching programs. As always, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might benefit. Leave a review and subscribe to Sheila's Take so you never, ever, ever miss an episode. Until next time, this is Sheila Dunbar reminding you that sometimes the most important relationships you ever have is the one with yourself. Take care of it, nurture it, and watch how it transforms every other connection in your life. Thank you and be blessed. Until next time, remember to embrace the journey, build lasting connections, and step boldly into all that life has in store for you. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.